Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So, let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And today I'm going to make today's episode a little personal and talk about an experience of mine. And as a single parent that's in the same world or the same boat as you guys, I think it's great that I can share these experiences with you. Now, I get mixed comments and mixed reviews, so to speak. When people hear that I am still single, they think, well, how can you give advice if you're single? But then I've had people question me, say, well, are you actually a single parent? How can you give advice if you're not a single parent? So it's a mixture of both worlds, isn't it? Like, people expect you to be a single parent to give advice, but then they expect you to be in a relationship to give advice on that. So, you know, at the end of the day, do you want advice from someone who's just been married once and never experienced the dating world and never experienced the ups and downs of it all? Because I can guarantee you, I have been there. I've experienced it all. And that's what this is all about, me sharing my journey with you and helping you get through it in a better way and teaching you those things and how to handle it so you hopefully don't go through those crazy moments like I have. But you know, just because I am single, it doesn't mean I don't know about dating. It doesn't mean I don't have experience in the area. It doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I'm single means I'm choosing to not rush into relationships. I'm not going out on a date every single weekend. I'm not sitting here getting sad because I haven't heard from a guy. I'm not sitting here constantly scrolling, thinking, when am I going to go on a date again? I'm happily single. I'm at a place where I'm good with where I'm at in my life, and I'm single because I choose to be, and I'm single because I haven't yet found the right one. And that doesn't mean I can't give advice on that. It means I'm taking my time to find the right one. I'm not rushing into anything. I'm not in the process of these toxic, bad dating experiences where there's fighting, where there's drama, where there's ugly breakups. That's all in the past in my journey, and I'm just, every now and then I'll go on a nice casual date and hope for the best or see how it goes. And that's what today's episode is. I'm actually going to share a dating experience with you all that I went on. Well, I'm not going to tell you everything about it, but just how to know if you're in the right relationship. How do you know if you've actually met the right person? How to know if that person that you're on a date with is right for you, or if you're just totally off and you're making it work for all the wrong reasons. So let's talk about that. So with my date, first of all, I hope he's not listening to this. It'd be pretty funny if he was, but I don't think he knows my business name. Well, I never told it to him. Maybe he did some stalking of his own. I don't know. But when I'm in the dating world, I don't tend to share my business name. I don't find it necessary. Like, it's not a plug for me. I'm not meeting men as a way to promote my business or my services. I'm meeting men for my personal journey, for me I want to meet someone. So, you know, I have in the past mentioned it, but it's not something I really put out there these days. So, as I was saying, I hope he's not listening. But back to where I was at. Now, I did meet this person online, and it is something that I do want to meet someone organically. I want to meet someone in real life where you can see who they are, they can see who you are. There's no, sugarcoating messages and trying to impress them, because they see you shred up who you are and you see them. And you can usually tell by a connection and their personality type and the way they talk if it's someone that you're going to get along with. So I did cave, and I did go back to one of my online dating apps, and I can't remember if it was active and I just go back every now and then, or if I had to reactivate it. I can't remember. But I'm not very active on these apps, hence why I'm single, because I'm not out there actively looking. I'm not constantly stressing about the fact that I'm single. I'm not worrying about not having a partner. I'm not sitting here getting sad about it. I'm okay with where I'm at. But every now and then you do think, yes, it would be nice. And maybe I should be a little more active in that area and put a little bit more effort in. So that was one of my goals for this year, to put a little bit more effort into actually getting out and meeting someone, which is why I went on this date. And I had high hopes, thinking, yes. So we started chatting before the end of 2024. We went on our first date, like few days into the new year, and I'm like, yes, isn't this good? New Year's resolution was to meet a new partner, and a few days in I've already met someone. How good's that? So I put a little bit too high expectations on this, thinking, yep, this is the one because this is what I wanted. This was on my goals list for the year, and I was just thinking, yep, this is it. This is it. This is the person. And we had quite a few phone chats going into it, and they were lengthy phone chats. They were like 2-hour conversations. And if you haven't figured out already, I'm quite a talker. I can just sit here and talk and talk and talk. I love asking questions. I love getting to know people. So I have no issues with talking to anyone. I can talk about anything and everything. And because we had these really nice conversations, I thought, wow, that's nice. This is good. This is a great start. And we ended up meeting up, and he lived a little distance away from me. So we met halfway, which was nice. But I have to admit, there was a few comments on his end trying to see if I would organise something. He kept saying, what do you want to do? Where should we go? You let me know. Should I come to you? You come to me? Should we meet halfway? And I'm like, you know what? When you're planning this, and I have got this on an episode a few episodes back, you do it together. Don't just expect one person to do all the planning. So I said to him, why don't we just meet halfway and we can work out a place from there? And that's what we did. So we actually worked out the place while we were on the phone together. We actually Google Mapped the halfway distance between where we were, found that place, and then found somewhere to go in that area. And it was actually a nice little spot. And that was easy. And so for those of you who are in that situation that don't like having to plan dates, do it together. Plan your halfway point if you have got a bit of a distance between you, and look at what's there. Where can you go? And we went, it was, I had a restaurant there, but we just mainly went for drinks. We had nibbles. We had some food. We were going to have a late lunch, but the restaurant closed early because I was short-staffed. So we just had drinks and late nibbles sort of thing. So it was nice. It was lovely. And the whole time I was there for probably about maybe 3 hours, maybe a little bit more, which was decent time for a first date. And there was never any awkward silences. There was no uncomfortableness. But for me, there was something missing. There was just something not there, and I couldn't pinpoint it. And I'm driving home, and I called a friend and kind of had a bit of a debrief with her about it. And I'm thinking to myself, am I self-sabotaging this? Because to be honest with you, when I was driving there, I did get a little bit nervous, and I don't normally get nervous when I go on dates and meeting new people, because the way I look at it is you're either going to connect and get along or you're not. And, they need to like you for who you are. And if they don't like you, then they're not your person. There's nothing to get nervous about. They're just not right for you. You move on and you find the next person, or you find, you take your time out and you find another person when you're ready. And I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, why am I nervous? And then I started to think about it, and I know this may sound weird, but I wasn't nervous as such about meeting a new person. I was more so nervous about meeting someone and it actually working and me losing my single life. Now, mind you, when I say single life like that, I'm not out partying and having a great, bachelorette kind of lifestyle. I'm a mum. My life is work, my daughter, and, I'm not doing all this crazy single life stuff. But I love my single life. I love my freedom. I love doing my life my way and doing it how I want. I love not having to answer to anyone or having to call someone and let them know what I'm doing. And I know not all relationships are like that, and I'm not trying to talk people out of relationships, but I have been in ones where they are like that. So for me, I love having control of my life. I love having the freedom to do what I want when I want. So when I'm going to this date, when I was driving there, I'm just thinking, shit, do I want to give that up? Am I ready to give all this up? And that's why I was getting nervous. I'm like, this is a big thing for me to get back into the dating world and possibly lose my single life. So when I left that date, even though we got along well and we had that great connection, I'm thinking, am I talking myself out of this person? Am I talking myself out of liking them more because I'm not ready to commit yet? I'm not ready to be in a relationship just yet, because we both did have the talk before meeting up saying, we're not just meeting up for a casual fling or for a bit of one night stand fun. We're meeting up because we both are wanting to have a relationship. And ideally, you're looking at that date going past one date, because you don't just meet up with someone for a bit of fun. You want to meet up with the intentions that it's going to progress further. But unfortunately, it doesn't always happen that way. And take, for example, my situation, which is why I'm talking about it. And so I did think about it. I'm like, am I talking myself out of this? Is there nothing wrong with this person and I'm just sabotaging this situation because I don't want to be in a relationship? I like being single. And then I actually thought about it. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not sabotaging anything. He was a lovely person. He was a really nice, sweet person. He bought the drinks I offered to pay, and he got up and paid for it, which was nice. And like I said earlier, there was no awkward silences. We chatted the whole way, but it was slightly awkward when we first met and when we left. So that's when I kind of sat back and assessed it all and kind of reevaluated what happened and really thought about it. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm talking myself out of it. There was no connection. And when you're on a date with someone, you sometimes get a bit flirty, and you might have the little brush of the arm, or touch them on the back, or they might touch your leg, and there was none of that. And I never had the desire to want to do that. And I didn't feel like they had it to me. So after thinking about it, I started to feel like, well, maybe they felt that way about me too. Maybe they felt I was just a friend, because usually afterwards you get some sort of message to say, hey, that was lovely. It was nice to meet you, or can't wait to catch up, or there was none of that. And again, I'm not talking myself out of this because he didn't message me. I mean, it's not just up to him to message. I can quite easily message too. But I did send a message. And I did send a message. It was a very nice, polite, short message just saying, thank you for yesterday. It was really lovely meeting you. We had a really lovely conversation, which was nice. Don't quote me verbatim. It wasn't exactly worded like this, but it was along these lines. And then I said something along the lines of saying, I just felt like we had more of a friendship connection, and I didn't feel like there was anything else more than that. And then I did say, I'm more than happy to stay in contact as friends if that's something you're interested in. If you're interested in. Otherwise, if not, then I do wish you all the best on your journey to finding love. And that's it. And I wanted to say that because I do think it's important to address that. Because, to be honest with you, I was surprised that I hadn't heard anything from him. He did. I think I woke up in the morning and I saw a missed call from him. And I thought, oh, that's weird. Because it was like at 12:30 at night, which for some people is not late. But for me, I'm in bed at that time. I'm a bit of a nana. And then I saw a message there that said, sorry, it was a butt dial or something like that. But with that, there was no saying, sorry, it was a butt dial. But by the way, thanks for tonight, or thanks for meeting up, or it was lovely to meet you. There was none of that. So I just thought, okay, I just left it. And then I wanted to see if he'd maybe add more to that, and he didn't. And that's when I thought I would send my message, instead of both of us sitting around waiting to see what the other person might think, or waiting to see if they're interested or not. Because I think it's important to say that. It's not a guessing game. We're all adults here. It's okay to tell someone that you're not interested, or not so much. I mean, it wasn't that I wasn't interested. I just didn't feel a connection. And I have been on dates before where, like I said, you get a bit flirty. You want to kind of touch them on the arm, sort of thing, and they might give you a little touch on the leg, and they might even try and give you a little peck or something when you're leaving. Where there was none of that. There was no kind of lean in to even kiss on a cheek or anything. And I said, okay, let me just give you a hug, because it was awkward. We're just standing there. So I said, okay, let me just give you a hug, bye. And then we went off and did our own things. We both went home, really. So again, this is why I wanted to talk about my personal experience, because you see so many people out there that go on dates and like, oh, they were a lovely person, they were really nice, but I wasn't sure about this. But then they keep it going, they keep it going, they keep it going. And to be honest with you, I have been there. I've been there years and years ago when I first broke up with my daughter's father. Like that was 10 plus years, however long it was ago. And then I was in the dating world then, and I was dating guys for all the wrong reasons. And I'd think to myself, they're nice, but, and you'd make all these excuses for them. And then you end up being heartbroken because it's not what you want, because you keep making excuses hoping it's going to be the right one. It's okay to meet a really nice person in the dating world, but admit that they're not the right person for you. And that's what I wanted to get across in today's episode. You can meet someone in the dating world. You can go out and meet someone and have an amazing conversation with them. And we did that. Like I said, we had a couple of 2-hour phone chats. We had a beautiful conversation when we were out on that date. But I just didn't feel a connection. Now, part of me is thinking, maybe I should give it a second chance and see. Maybe the connection will grow. But then part of me is thinking, I don't want to force something either. If it's not there, it's not there. And there was nothing being reciprocated on his end. And still, to this moment, I haven't received a response regarding my message about saying, thanks, let's just be friends. Or what can you say to that? Because for some people, they will take that quite personally and will get quite upset by that, especially if it was someone they were interested in. And this goes back to other podcast episodes that I have where I talk about, if you are interested in someone, let them know. Don't be too scared, because you could have just let someone go because you were too scared to show how you feel. You're too scared to show that you were interested. You're too scared to show that you actually liked this person. So you distanced yourself, you closed yourself off, you put a wall up, and then because you had that wall up, you chatted like friends, and then there was no connection, and then that person's gone off. It's like, lovely chat, lovely meeting you, but it was just like chatting to a friend. It was just a friendly connection. I don't see anything more. So when you're on a date with someone, be cautious to not have that wall up, not be so guarded, to close yourself off to creating a connection with someone, because that's what can happen. They're not going to connect with you if you're so closed off. Now, I get why people do put a wall up. I get why people are guarded. You've been hurt. You don't want to go down that path again. Understandable. Haven't we all been hurt as single parents? That's why we're here on this journey. But the thing is, if you're so worried about getting hurt again and you're so guarded, are you ready to be dating? Are you ready to be out there meeting new people? Should you maybe be stepping back and working on those things that are triggering you and that you're scared of? Because there's no guarantee that you're not going to get hurt again. There's no guarantee that you're not going to meet an arsehole again. But it's not about whether or not you meet that kind of shithead in the future. It's about how you handle that situation, how you react. Are you going to take it personally? Are you going to, like, for example, yesterday's situation with my date. It wasn't yesterday when this goes to air, but as I'm recording, it was yesterday for me. And I could have just left there and got really personal about it and got really sad and upset, thinking, well, he didn't make an effort to do anything. Like, he didn't try and kiss me on the cheek. He didn't tell me how he felt. He didn't say he liked anything. He said absolutely nothing. He doesn't like me. I can't believe it. What did I do wrong? What can I do to make him like me? I could have left with that mentality about it. But that's what's going to fuck with your head. You don't want to be like that in the dating world. And that's why sometimes it's so important, if you are so hurt from previous relationships, to take a step back, because it's so important to not take things personally. Everyone is on their own little journey and they're at their own little place in life. Some people are more hurt and damaged is probably not the best word, but they're still quite traumatized from their past. Some people have gone through a lot more healing and they've progressed a lot more, and they're at a place where they're no longer emotionally attached to their ex. They're no longer emotionally attached or take things so personally. If a date or a relationship or something doesn't work out, they accept that that's what it is. It's unfortunate, but life still goes on. So with that, when you're in the dating world and you are 100% invested in meeting someone new, don't go in there guarded. Go in there putting your best self out there. And who knows, maybe I was slightly guarded and I don't even realize it, because I was being guarded because I wasn't ready for a relationship, and maybe they felt that I was closed off, so maybe they were being closed off. Who knows? I don't think we'll ever know the answer to that. But in saying that, I feel like if it was coming from the other side, if there was some kind of attraction there, if there was some kind of chemistry there, I would have definitely been more open and more inclined to kind of let them in. I mean, it's not that I was definitely not closed off, and I was definitely not guarded, but I didn't feel any chemistry or anything where I wanted to show any kind of affection or any kind of, romantic kind of gestures, which is sometimes quite nice on a first date. I mean, you don't have to push the boundaries and, pash them on the first date. I mean, if you want to do it if they're both, if you both agree to it, but you don't have to. But just it's simple touching hands or, holding hands or something. It's nice. It shows that you're interested, and it shows that there's something there. But if there's nothing, if you're just sitting there having a 3-hour conversation about your life and your goals, that's nice. But I can do that with my friends. And that's exactly how I felt when I got home. I'm like, that was nice, but it was literally no different to the way I would chat with my friends and talking to them about, things in their life. It was just a friendly chat. So this is like my personal experience of what I just went through. Is not like, I'm not going to give up hope, but I'm not going to sit there and religiously look on the dating apps either. I'm still got faith that I'm going to meet someone in real life. I'm holding on to that belief that someone is out there. And when I pop out one day and I'm not thinking about it, and I'm probably going to be dressed in my daggiest of clothes, I'll probably meet someone then. And that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. But until then, I'm not going to sit here and get sad. I'm not going to sit here and stew on it. I'm not going to sit here and question why hasn't he texted me back, or message him back again saying question mark, or why didn't you tell me? I don't know. But anyway, that's not where I'm at. I don't need to do that. I'm comfortable with where I'm at, and I'm comfortable in accepting that he was a lovely person, but there was no romantic connection there at all. And I didn't see it progressing to that. And again, I'm just here to kind of reinforce that when you're on a date with someone, you can meet someone who is lovely. You can meet someone who you have a great chat with. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a great romantic connection. So don't feel like you have to make excuses for someone, or don't feel like you have to keep pushing a relationship just because they're nice. Being nice doesn't necessarily make them a perfect match with you. It just means they're a nice person. And because you're deciding that they're not a right match for you, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It means you're just not matched romantically. There's no chemistry. There's no connection. And that's okay. It doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't say anything bad besides the fact that you know what you want, and you're going to keep looking until you find it, and you're not willing to settle for something that's not exactly what you're after. And that's okay. And in saying that, keep in mind to not close yourself off. If you're out there in the dating world and you're wanting to meet someone new, don't be guarded. Don't just have surface-based conversation, because that's so boring, and no one wants like bullshit conversation on a date about weather and what are you doing tomorrow, and like that's just stuff you talk about with random strangers. You want to actually get to know them. And, like I said, that's what we did for 3 hours. He spoke about his family, and he spoke about his travels, and he spoke about what he did for Christmas and New Year's, and where his family grew up. And it was nice. It was a really nice chat. And I'm not going to sit here and say anything bad about him, because there wasn't anything bad about him. I just did not feel a connection. And as we as single parents are in the dating world, I think it's important to not just settle for someone because you're worried that you're not going to find them. You're not going to find that right person. You don't need to settle because they're a nice person and you're just going to make it work. You're not going to settle because you think if you let this person go, then you've got to go back to the apps. You've got to go back to finding someone else again. You've got to go back to the messaging again. It's okay. It's okay. There's no rush. There's no time limit on when you need to find a partner. Just go with the flow and let it happen. And it will at the right time. But don't put so much pressure on yourself to find the right person. Don't put so much pressure on the other person to be the right person. And because they're a nice person, you're trying to mold them to be your perfect match when they're not. They're just a nice person, but you've got no chemistry. You've got no connection. And sadly, you see it a lot. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've seen it a lot. And how married couples are sleeping in separate beds because they just don't have any romantic connection anymore. Why? That's so sad if you ask me. Do you want to meet a partner where that's how you're going to end up sleeping in separate beds? No, hell no. I know I don't. So don't settle. If you feel that you're not getting exactly what you're after when you're on a date, then tell them they're a lovely person, but unfortunately it's not what I'm looking for. Or it just didn't feel right, or I just feel like we're going to be more friends than partners. Be open and honest. And I think that's so important. Don't just go on a date and ghost someone. I mean, I still don't know what he's thinking after receiving my message, but I think it is extremely important to not ghost someone. Let them know where you're at. Because I've been in that situation where I've been ghosted. And it's not nice. And I'm sure a lot of you also have been. And messaging someone and letting them know that it wasn't right for you doesn't make you a bad person. And I know that's why people don't do it, because they feel like they're going to be the bad guy and they don't want to be that person. But it's just letting them know how you feel. And that's okay. They may be hurt in the moment, but I promise you they will get over it. And who knows, they may even be on the same page. But if they're not on the same page, if they were interested, then the question is, why were they not showing that they were interested? Why were they not showing some form of attraction or showing some form of interest in you? Because maybe they were shy, maybe they were nervous. And that's understandable. But for me, I want someone who's confident. I want someone who's willing to speak up. And this is something we spoke about on the phone prior to actually meeting up. He did mention a couple of times that, he always says how he feels. He doesn't sweep things under the carpet. He's all about having conversations about things, about he's not scared to talk about his feelings and where he's at. So I just would have thought, okay, if that's what he said and that's what he's communicated, then he would communicate that he's interested, or show it in some way, not just verbally, but physically, or, you show it in some way. You know when someone's interested. And I got none of that, which is why I got the friend zone vibes. I got none of that. So don't go on a date and close yourself off and get so nervous that you're giving the friend zone vibes and you're pushing the other person away because they're not getting any kind of interest from you. So show that person you're interested. Don't be scared to put yourself out there, because that's what dating is. If you're just going to go on a date and close yourself off and have yourself guarded, you may as well not go. You're just wasting each other's time because you're not being the real authentic you. You're not being genuine. You're only giving surface-based you, and nobody wants to know that. You're going on a date so someone can know the real you. So let go of that wall, put it down, and let go of that guard and let someone in. Now, when I say let someone in, I don't mean tell them your whole life story on the first date. I mean, be authentic with them. Show some emotion. Show some interest. Show some passion. If you go on a date with someone and you think they look nice, tell them, well, you look nice tonight. You look lovely. Doesn't matter if it's a guy or girl, whoever you're with. And he made a comment to me at the end of the date. And because I wore these nice, I thought they were really nice satin pants actually. And I didn't want to get it was a weird place where it was kind of like a club, but kind of wasn't. So I didn't want to get too dressed up because it was a club and it was more afternoonish. But I didn't want to go too casual and just rock up in jeans because it was a date. I wanted to be kind of nice and respectable and look nice. So I wore just like some casual pants and a singlet top and some nice sandals. And as we're walking out, he's like, oh, look at your pants. They're nice and shiny. And I'm like, or he said colourful and shiny. And I'm like, are you mocking me? Are you taking the piss out of me? Or is that a way to say that you like them? I don't know. I just think if you're with someone and you like what they wear, say it. Tell them, oh, you look lovely or you look nice today. And good chance they will probably give you a compliment back in return, or they might not. They might just say thank you. But don't mock someone on a first date. He may not have been mocking me, but I felt like, I don't know, when he said that, he kind of looked me up and down. I'm like, I was a little bit weirded out by that. I'm like, I've got nothing from you all date. The whole 3 hours was sitting together. But at the end of it, the only comment I got was, no, I like your colourful, shiny. Or I can't know. He didn't say I like. He said nice, colourful, shiny pants. And I'm like, thanks. I like them too. So don't mock a date. Don't mock someone. And again, he may not have been mocking me. And I didn't walk away and go, oh my God, I can't believe he didn't like my pants. I wasn't fazed by that in the slightest. But I just didn't think it was an appropriate way to address someone that you're trying to impress when you're on a date, because that's what a date is. You want to impress the other person. You want them to be interested in you. You want them to kind of like you, and mocking their clothes is not the best way to go about that. Even if you don't like what they're wearing, you don't have to like what they're wearing. You need to like them as a person. So what I'm getting at here now, I know I can probably sit back and reflect on me as a person on that date, and there's probably a few things I can do a little bit different, but I don't know what that is yet, because I was quite chatty. I don't know. Maybe I didn't give him any kind of romantic interest, and I didn't, because I didn't get that vibe. I didn't feel it. Like, even when you meet someone, you're like, oh, this is nice. But I will step back and reflect on something I can do differently. I will, and that's, I think, what's so important about going into the dating world and meeting all these different people. It's all teaching us something. It's all teaching us something about ourselves, whether it be how to maybe respond differently, how to interact differently. There's always something we can learn. Maybe it's about having our boundaries in place. Maybe it's, teaching us to say no to someone that's not the right person. And I feel I did that, where years and years ago, I would have said, well, he's a nice person. Let's just meet up with them again, even though I felt nothing more than that. So in a way, I feel like that was my test from me, so to speak, from the universe to say, okay, are you going to just tolerate the same stuff you used to tolerate years ago? Or are you going to stick to your guns? Are you going to, stand by your boundaries and not let someone just come into your life for all the wrong reasons? And I feel I did that. I feel I passed that test. And it's important to reflect on that when you go on a date that's not successful. Is there anything you can do differently, or is there anything you can learn from that and take away from that? It's not necessarily about changing what you're doing or doing something different. What can you take away from that date? And has that taught you something about what you've learnt in life? Has it taught you something about how you've grown? Has it taught you something about what you're looking for in another person? So really, the purpose of today's episode is just to remind you, you don't have to settle for someone that you go on a date with just because they're a nice person. You can say, you're a nice person, but you're not my person. And that's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person, and it doesn't make them a bad person. And it's important to go into a date and not be guarded, not be closed off. Show that you're interested. Have some connection, because like I said, otherwise you're just sitting there chatting to a friend. And that's what we did for 3 hours. We chatted like friends for 3 hours. And have that follow-up. If it's not for you, send a message and let them know. If they are for you, then send them that message and let them know. Don't just wait for the other person to take the lead. There's two people here. And most importantly, if you're going into a date feeling like you've got to be guarded, feeling like you can't put yourself fully out there, then please ask yourself, are you dating for the right reasons? Because if you're so guarded and not wanting to tell this person about everything in your life, then you shouldn't be dating just yet. And like I came across this person recently, and she went on a date with someone and she told them they had no kids. And then after they went on a date, she told them she had kids, and he broke it off after that, and she couldn't understand why. And for me, that's a no-brainer. I mean, having kids, for me, that's not a make or break for a relationship. But the lying, if you can so easily lie about having kids, what else are you lying about? And the reason why she lied about that was because she wasn't sure if she wanted him to know everything about her life. Well, why are you dating? Don't go into a relationship where you've got to lie about your personal situation, where eventually they're going to find out very quickly. They can just probably stalk you on social media and they'll probably find you've got photos with kids. Don't lie to meet someone, because it's only going to backfire on you. Be true to who you are. Be genuine and be authentic. So that's my little chat on my dating experience, my first dating experience for 2025. And like I said, I did go into this with high hopes, thinking, yes, my goal was to meet someone for 2025. And here I am, 4 or 5 days in, whatever date it was. And I'm already meeting someone. Tick that off the list. So I think I put a little bit too much pressure on myself. But it was fun. It was a good experience. I'm glad I did it. I have no regrets. I'm not sad. I'm not emotional. I'm not let down. But for me, the way I look at it is, each time you go on a date that's not right for you, it's taking you one step closer to the right person. And in a way, I know this may sound crazy for you guys, but I am proud of myself. Because like I said earlier, the old me would have just continued on dating this person because they were a nice person. So I'm glad I stuck to my guns, and I'm glad I did go on this date, because it taught me a huge amount about myself, about how much I've grown and how much as a person I've changed when it comes to dating. And that's what it's about. How much you change, how much you grow, how much you learn, how much you can take on from your past experiences. So use everything you go through as something to learn from. And in saying that, I am going to do a filthy plug here at the end. And if you are wanting to fast track that learning, because you can sit here and listen to every single one of these podcast episodes, and I hope you do, and I hope you all get something from this. But if you want to fast track that information, if you want more information, then I do have a dating ebook just to help you through the dating life. And it targets every one of these aspects that we talk about. And if you do want to fast track that even more, then hey, let's have a chat, because that's what these one-on-one chats are about. You can get the same information from the podcast, or you can get it in a lot quicker, in a lot personalized, or not a lot, in a personalized way, in a one-on-one way, to help you on your unique journey. And it's individualized just for you. And that's what it's about. And I understand single parent coaching, it's not a thing at the moment. Like, people are just like, what's that? What is that about? Like, I put a post up and people just mock it with laughy face emojis. It's like, what's that about? Do I laugh at your work? Why are you laughing at this? So people are laughing at the concept of it, because it's still unknown territory for a lot of people. People are like, what's single parent coaching? I've never heard of that. They just rely on a counselor or a psychologist or psychiatrist or someone else to talk to. It's a coach specializing in single parenting, because that's my area of expertise. And that's what I want to focus on, because I know how difficult it is. Going through a divorce and a breakup with a de facto or a long-term relationship, or a breakup with your kid's partner, is a fucking hard thing to deal with. It's one of the hardest things you will ever have to deal with in your life. It truly is. Like, I look back now, I've been divorced and I've been through a de facto breakup. And both of them two things were the hardest things I've ever had to go through in my life. And that's, in that sense, you look back on it and you think, okay, if that's so hard, why didn't I get help? Because so many people are in this mind frame, oh, I'm fine, I don't need help. I can do it on my own. I'm fine. What do I need help for? People get help for everything these days. Everything. Coaches, business, any kind of issue through life. You got your bloody naturopaths that help with your health stuff. I mean, I'm not expert in that area. Your doulas that help with bloody birthing. And that's where I come in to help when you're on the other side of that, unfortunately, when you're going through a breakup, because it truly is the hardest thing you will go through. And it's okay to admit you need help. It's okay to admit you need someone to get you through it. It's okay to admit you're not handling it as well as you'd like to, because that's where I come in to help you with all those things. So if you do need that help, then let's have a chat. All my details are in my show notes, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be embarrassed of. And most importantly, no one's going to know. If you don't want anyone to know, no one will know. But it's all about helping you and helping you grow and helping you learn and helping you get through this difficult stage, because it is difficult. It is like mourning the loss of someone. You are grieving. And no one prepares you for how hard that is and the challenge of dealing with those emotions that come with that. So that is where I come in, and let's have a chat. If you want to handle that in a different way or in a quicker way, then that's what I'm here for. So thank you again. And I really do hope you got something from this episode. And let me know, do you want me to keep sharing with you my dating experiences, or you think it's just, I need to keep it to myself? Let me know what you think, because I'm open. I'm open to hear from you. If you want to hear more on my dating journey, then let me know. I'm happy to share it. But yeah, let me know. Message me on Instagram. You can follow me over there. I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff on my Instagram page, Life After Plus One, or just shoot me a message on my website, whatever. I'd love to hear from you guys. I love your questions. I love your feedback. So keep it coming, guys. And as I always say, also, if you're loving the show, share it with your single parent friends, because it makes the world of a difference getting into all those single parent ears. And give me a review. Tell me what you think of it, because that also helps the podcast like you wouldn't believe. So thank you all. And I hope you're enjoying the start to 2025 and enjoy your dating experience as a single parent in 2025. Make the most of it. Go in with an open mind and just have fun with it. Don't take it too personally. All right. Thank you, guys. That's it from me today. And I hope you really got something of value from this episode. And until next time, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.